Welcome to MARC Matters, a monthly series produced by MARC Inc. of Manchester that focuses on people with disability and their success and challenges to live, work, and enjoy their community. My name is Thomas McCann, your host of MARC Matters. Today we have a wonderful show in store for you. Recently, we had the pleasure of interviewing several parents, family members, and community leaders to gain their insight and perspective about the service produced by MARC. Our first interview is from Mary O'Connell, parent of Neil, who is in MARC residential service. Mary also serves on the MARC Public Relations Committee. I'd like to welcome you again. We're back on MARC Matters, with Mike, is my co-host, and I'm Thomas McCann. Talk to Miss Mary. How we doing, Miss Mary?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you, Tom.
Excellent.
Mary, how did you get involved in MARC?
My first encounter with MARC was when Neil was a senior in high school. And in January of the year that he graduated, he was transitioned to MARC in January, 1 day a week. And then in February, he'd go 2 days a week. And then in March, 3 days a week, and so on until he graduated in June. And in June, he was coming to MARC 5 days a week. So he was already primed for being at MARC out of high school. So the transition was very good for him. And from there, I believe he went to work. They were able to evaluate him and find out what he could do. And he liked the people at MARC, which was good. And he ended up getting a job at Bob's Furniture Store. And that was 9 years ago, and he's still there, and he loves it.
He does. Mary, I've had the opportunity to get to meet Neil and spend some time with him from this project, and he is extremely capable, and he's got great personality, great with the cameras, outgoing, just a real pleasure to work with. And can you talk a little bit about, before your involvement with MARC, some of the challenges that you may have faced with Neil and with your family? Right.
Neil was born in 1980, and he had 3 older brothers and 2 older sisters. And of course, it was quite a shock when he was born because we didn't know he was Down syndrome. But it only took us about a week to just accept what was his condition and work with. There was a doctor at UConn Medical Center, Dr. Robert Greenberg, who headed a program, a 3-year program for Down syndrome children. And he came to see me in the hospital, and I signed up Neil for the program, which was a wonderful help and gave Neil a very good start. And together with his brothers and sisters, they just accepted he was just another brother, and they were a wonderful help in shaping his life and what he was supposed to do. The oldest was 18 and the youngest was 10. So they were more like moms and dads to him.
Right.
So, which was a great help to us.
Yeah, the whole family becomes involved and engaged, and that's great to have that support. Yeah. And then you got involved with MARC. What are some of the services that help the most for Neil and for your family?
I think it was getting Neil into the workforce. His brothers and sisters had got married and left, so it was no big issue for Neil because he wanted to do what his brothers and sisters were doing. Although he did stay at home and work at Bob's for I think about 5 years, and then a space became available in one of the homes that he went into. And the transition for Neil, leaving our home to go into another home, we thought it would have been traumatic, but it wasn't, because of the great work that Mark had done with them, and he was happy with the staff, and he knew Brian that he shared a condo with, which made it nice.
Yeah.
And he adapted very well. And I think he spent maybe 4 years there. And now he's living in a group home with 3 other young men.
Yeah.
And he's happy there, and we like it because he's well adjusted. It's his own home, and he's fairly self-sufficient. And the bottom line is, we have peace of mind because he has adjusted so well to his environment. So
Yeah.
it's been 9 years at MARC, and 5 years living independently of his family.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where we were with the cameras on Friday, and we got to hang out with Neil and his roommates, and we had a great time.
Oh, did he try to take the mic from you?
Oh, he steals the show, but but one of the things that you cued in on and that I like is MARC gives people the choice to decide what they want to do. They're not telling people you have to do it this way. Neil he chooses his own activities and his involvement
Right.
at Bob's and everything. He really seems to like his job there. So.
Right. And another thing that I liked about Mark was when he moved from the condo into the group home, it was our decision, which was just wonderful. And we saw the house, and we thought it was great. We loved it. They have a big garden, and they have a backyard, and they have a basketball court where they can play basketball, and it's a place where they can play badminton and croquet.
Yes.
Plus all the other activities that he has.
Yeah.
So and it's very good for him. He has a social life and an active life that he wouldn't have had if he was at home, because I wouldn't be able to keep up with.
Right. I know beyond being a parent of Neil and a person served, you're very active in MARC in how you co-chair the Walk Fest committee. That's great, and that takes a lot of dedication, and we're working real hard to get help MARC with the new building campaign. What does that project mean to you, and why is it important to your family and Neil?
Well, from the beginning, when I first went into MARC, it was 2002, and it wasn't so cramped then, but I found as the years progressed that there was more people in there, and there was difficulty finding a parking space. And inside, the rooms, the workrooms where they were working, the space wasn't there, and especially in the senior place. And but I couldn't believe the fantastic work that the staff was able to do with such limited quarters. And you always got the feeling, or I did anyway, I always got the feeling when I went in that they loved their work, the staff at MARC, and they're very good at it. They'd have to love it they're so good at their work. And I got to know a lot of the clients who were there, and they got to know me. So there was a very relaxed, kind of caring atmosphere at MARC. But now I can see where MARC can do so much more. If they had the facilities, larger facilities, there's so much more work they can do, especially for the younger people that's coming in. And and I believe that the new addition will have an outside area, which you don't have, where they can go outside. There'll be a landscaped area where if they want picnic tables and they can go outside, is something that they don't have now. And I don't know a lot about the new building yet, but I do know it's going to be spacious, and it'll give the staff an opportunity to bring in more work, get more contracts. So I think there's a great need for it. And it's a labor of love for the staff. And I think they do need the larger facility to do 100%. They're doing 100% now in a small area. I don't know how they do it, but they do.
Right.
So the new facility, I think, will provide a lot more opportunities for the clients and for the staff to promote more work for them and help them.
Yeah.
Well, they have wonderful staff there. I mean, you can walk into MARC and you can see one of the staff saying, "Hi, Tommy," or "Hi, anybody," and they'll say how your day's going, how's work. I mean, it's like your home.
Yeah.
And now that Ken Chappelle's taken over, he's doing a wonderful job with them. I want to thank him, and I think people that go there should thank the staff
Absolutely.
for being there.
I'll tell you what we as a family have. I don't think, since Neil left home and went to live at MARC, I don't think I ever had a time when I was anxious or worried about him. We had peace of mind because I'd gotten to know the staff very well, and I knew how dedicated they were, and I felt completely at ease that Neil was in very good hands with MARC, and it's his second family, really, and that's what they have become. The three young men who live with them, with Neil, it's just like another family.
You can see that there's a real sense of camaraderie, and they've got a different personality, but you got to get along with people, and oh, it's like any family. They have their little ups and downs, sure.
And then the staff is very adept at working things out for them. They know how to handle them, and to get things on an even keel again. So I have great faith in the staff at MARC.
Our next guest is Lou Spadaccini, mayor for the town of Manchester. Since he has been on both the Board of Education and the Board of Directors, he has seen the needs of people with disability grow within the community. I have to say, we're back with Lou again. How did you get involved with MARC?
Oh, I've worked with MARC since, I guess, first started when I was a member of the Board of Education. I learned about the services that MARC offers, and continuing as a member of the Board of Directors and later as mayor, I got to go to many MARC functions. I've toured the facilities at MARC. We've gotten a number of presentations about all the great services that MARC provides for the developmentally disabled. And I'm particularly impressed with what you do to give employment skills and train the developmentally disabled to be effective members of the workforce.
Right. What you now serve as the mayor of Manchester.
Yes.
And what are your feelings of the impact of MARC on our local community?
Well, I think MARC's made a tremendous impact on the local community. They truly are a local social service organization. It's been home to Manchester's been its home for since its beginning, and we've been so proud of the work that MARC's done over the years with the developmentally disabled, the career opportunities they've created for them, the educational opportunities they've created, the help that they've provided for the families of those who are developmentally disabled. It's really been seen throughout the community, and it's helped educate the community too. So it's been MARC and the town of Manchester have really been a great fit.
Yeah. you have any particular memorable moments with Mark at an event or any of the annual events that you always attend and are impressed with?
I always attend the graduation ceremony, and I also always attend the events that the MARC Senior Center puts on. And it's great to sit and learn about the different career opportunities that are available. When I toured their facility, I saw them working on putting together components, parts for a business that was in the manufacturing field. It really was great to see the pride that the members of MARC put into their work, and the good things they did. Yeah, it's been a great partnership, the town and MARC Incorporated. We've been able to help assist with some of MARC's efforts through our annual budget allocation sets aside some money to support MARC Incorporated. We get regular reports on the progress of what's been done with those funds, and we've really we get invited to a lot of MARC functions, and all the members of the board of directors go to them and really learn a lot about MARC's mission and its purpose. And I'm continually impressed with the good things that MARC does.
Through your experience in office and then exposure to the people at MARC Incorporated, has your own personal perception of people with developmental disabilities been impacted, changed in that time? Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. I've been greatly impressed at the career opportunities that exist for those with developmental disabilities and how much pride and how well they do their jobs. They really are an asset to employers, and I think MARC has really helped educate people, educated employers and members of the community about how productive individuals with developmental disabilities can be.
Yeah.
Our next guest is Liz Damon, sister of Jamie, who has been with MARC for over 32 years. She will talk about the impact MARC had on her family and the importance to enjoy the community. Why MARC Employment Service? I'd like to welcome you back to MARC Matters. My name is Thomas McCann. I'm here with Mike, and I'm also here with Janie's sister, Lynn. I'd like to welcome you.
Thank you.
And how long has Janie been in MARC?
My sister Jane Alamany has been working with MARC since she was 21. So I counted, and it's 32 years that she's been involved with working. But my mom was an active member on MARC Incorporated when Janie was small, so in the 60s and in the 70s. Yeah, long time.
So how did Janie's mother get involved in MARC?
The Manchester community, we grew up in Manchester, and my mother also grew up here. And there were so many, MARC Incorporated was a great organization for resource for my mom when she was a young mother with Jane. Jane's the oldest of 5 children in our family. So growing up with Janie was very special for all of us, but she needed to be watched and cared for. So all of us were there for Jane. But the Manchester town has been wonderful, and all the organizations from, Jack had mentioned Instructors of the Handicap and the high school level. I was involved with that. Camp Kennedy, I was involved with that at age 12. I snuck in because I think it was 13 that you were supposed to be a volunteer. And all my siblings were involved with all these wonderful organizations that helped Janie and people like Jane to have a fuller life. Yes.
That's one thing you don't want to do, sneak in a Camp Kennedy.
Ah, Uncle Harry let me. If you remember Uncle Harry.
I remember when you sneaked in,
yeah,
too.
it was worth it. I loved every minute of it.
Well, how did you get to be a counselor at Camp Kennedy?
At Camp Kennedy, there was a process of, obviously my whole family was involved, so they knew that I was a good person. And I wasn't strong enough, and I was a little smaller to handle maybe the bigger men that were campers at the time. but I had Mary Haw was one of my campers that I helped for the week, and it was 6-week camps. Remember? Do you remember, Tom? That's how I met you.
I was one of your.
Yeah, probably when I got a little older. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And Janie still goes. They have a week adult camp in August, and that's my sister Janie's vacation. And she comes home. She lives in a group home that is run by MARCH. And she's lived there for, I think it's been 25 years now. And she comes home to live at my mom's in her old bedroom, and she goes to Camp Kennedy for a week. So that's like her mini vacation. Okay. So it's wonderful that Manchester still has that running.
Does Janie take advantage of any of the other services that MARC offers?
Yes. Janie is, if everyone knows her and loves her, she is very social. And from all the parties, the dances, how about your Halloween dance? She's always either Marilyn Monroe, Diana Ross, you know Jane. She loves a costume and a party, and a Valentine's Day dance, your Christmas parties, bowling. She started bowling when she was younger, and she's still, what a great bowler. All you guys, I've gone to pick her up at the alley, and just it's so much fun to watch. Yeah.
We went bowling last week with the cameras and had a great time.
Oh, I bet. It's great action, great footage for video, for sure.
Yeah. Your sister is show off.
Oh, I know that, Tom. I lived with her for a long time. Yeah. She's great, and she loves MARC. I am a professional photographer, and I spent a day with her. I just read my notes 7 years ago. I did the day in the life of Jane, and it was wonderful to experience the love and the seriousness also of her bosses. And she worked at a desk job at the time, and she's fluctuated from on a crew cleaning restaurants to working at I think MARC had a bakery at one time, and she worked at the bakery. And now she, because of her health issues, she's in the office now. She's working. And MARC is very compassionate about what Janie needs for her feeling pride in her work and not pushing her aside because she isn't healthy enough to work on a crew.
Well, your family is very lucky to have MARC.
Oh, I know that. We're very blessed. I asked my mom what she felt about MARC, and it brings tears to my eyes, because if MARC Incorporated wasn't around when Janie was young, and as she's aging, as she's living longer, the lives of clients like Jane are living longer, fuller lives. And if it wasn't for MARC, she'd probably be home sitting watching TV and having not a purpose in her life. So I think when I go to pick Janie up at work, I see the compassion and just feeling a part of a community. And her lifelong friends, you, are working there. So she enjoys that social part of it also.
A lifelong friend that she is.
Yeah.
She's been around ever since I started Camp Kennedy.
Yeah. Did you go to Instructors of the Handicapped too?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a great organization that's run by teenagers at Manchester High and East Catholic, I think, all kids all over.
We've talked a lot about today about how Manchester has been a very supportive community and a leader in terms of helping people with developmental disabilities lead, more productive, satisfying lives. Mm-hmm. Do you, with your perspective from knowing, historically, do you feel like there's been a change in the community and the perception, the community at large?
Yeah, well, I think with the mainstreaming that's going on in the school system in every town in the United States, that's changed. Jane was involved with a classroom at Keeney Street School in town, and it was separate from the other children, but it was still in a public school in town. And I remember going to the open houses there and just, we were very involved with the town. And then she moved to Regional Center, or actually, yeah, I think after that on the grounds of MCC. So I can't say enough about how the community has taken people like my sister and her friends, and you know, it makes me cry to think that they treat them like a normal individual who has meaning, who needs a purpose and education and a job, you know, to fulfill their life purpose. And we're thrilled and happy for Jane that she's very happy. And I love visiting and picking her up and enjoying her today and until she's gone. So we're thrilled with all the services. And we're excited about the new future of MARC Incorporated and the new building that they're raising funds for. It has to be done. I'm kind of surprised it hasn't been built sooner. And I think with the push, I'm on the website of MARC all the time looking at all the activities that are being organized for the fundraising, and little by little, it's gonna, I can't wait. I can't wait to go to the ribbon cutting and open those doors for Janie and Tom and Charlie and all Jane's friends to walk in and feel a permanent home. You know, they've been moved around a lot in the town, and thank God they haven't closed. So we're, you know, it's just such a strong organization now, and forever for the people in the area.
We are out of time for this month's show. I would like to thank all of our guests for sharing their perspective with us today. As you can see, MARC Inc. plays an important role in the lives of many individuals. If you would like more information on MARC Inc. of Manchester, please visit us at www.marcconnecticut.org or call us at 860-646-5718. Thank you for watching. Have a great evening.